Welcome to the Lakers Report by Chat Sports. I am Nick Roloff. We have a loaded show here on tap for all you at home. The Lakers need to make some changes after a rough week here that included a loss to the Cavaliers and Detroit Pistons. And then also we'll revisit some Walker Kessler trade talks, as there was a little bit of a leak out there about a rejected offer from Utah and what the Lakers could now re-offer Utah as the season progresses. But make sure you are subscribed. Make sure you have your notifications turned on, because we're posting more Lakers videos and the latest news, rumors, and everything you need to know around this basketball team. So make sure you're subscribed and make sure you click that notification icon and click turn to all, not just personalized, so you never miss any content we put out here on the channel. All right, after the last couple of games, it's very clear that if the Lakers want to win in the Western Conference, they need to make some changes to the roster and just get better overall performances from some guys on this group. And one of the first changes that needs to be better is that the defense needs to be better. We have seen J.J. Redick install a better offense for Los Angeles, but the defense has simply just been horrific for the Lakers. And yeah, they've had a little bit of a tough schedule early on in the season, playing a lot of good offenses, but those two games against Detroit and Toronto are the ones that concern me the most. Like the Timberwolves, great game. That's a great offense. You held over to 103 points, and Phoenix is going to get there. Sacramento's dynamic, having DeRozan, De'Aaron Fox scoring 20 a game, as well as Domantas Sabonis, and the Cavs have been, the second best team in basketball to start the year, only behind the Thunder, but giving up 125 to Toronto, 115 against Detroit, that is not going to cut it. And when you look more in depth at this Lakers defense, it just further illustrates that this is a bottom half defense. And honestly, we're going to talk about a bottom 5 defense in the league. They rank in the bottom 5 of every category on this list besides one, which is opponents off turnovers, but you're giving up too many second chance points. That's the issue here. The rebounding, you're not closing out possessions. When you give up the 25th most second chance points in the NBA, you are not going to be able to hold your opponents to the defensive numbers that you'd like to see. And kind of surprising here is the one that surprised me the most when I was looking at some numbers here, is that how bad you've been at protecting the paint. Now, a lot of that comes with second chance opportunities, offensive rebounds, putbacks, but you give up 54.3 points per game in the paint. That's 28th in the NBA. Anthony Davis, someone that we all know is a really good rim protector and defender, not getting any help inside in this Lakers front court, just getting dominated for most of the game in that painted area. And J.J. Redick has understood this, realized this for the first 7 games of the season. And he said after the last couple of losses that we need to start the game with a little more pride defensively. And listen, I'll be honest, defense to me in the NBA is more about pride, effort, and determination than it is about actual talent. Sure, there are some players out there that are just physically limited and aren't able to defend. When you look at small guards that aren't able to be physical with other guys that are just simply more stronger than them, and then if you're just a little bit slow-footed, you're not going to be able to stay up with the quick guards in the NBA. But most of these guys are extremely good athletes that should be able to stay up and stay in front of guys, and it's all about attention to detail, keeping track of your assignments, and taking pride and effort into it. And I think J.J. Redick realizes that there are some good defenders on this team, and their defense should be better. One of them being Jared Vanderbilt, who hasn't really been here for this team this season as he's recovering from off-season foot surgery. He is arguably your best defender on the perimeter. I'd still say Anthony Davis is your best overall defender, but in terms of being able to switch on 1 through 4, even 1 through 5 potentially at times, his length, his versatility is needed. And if this Lakers defense wants him to improve, Vanderbilt's going to need to return. But I also want to make a note that it's not all on Vanderbilt to be that guy. It's just one piece of the puzzle. Everybody else needs to be better defensively. You also are going to need more from your bench. We know that the starters for this group has been phenomenal this season. Anthony Davis, LeBron, Rui Hachimura has been good, Austin Reeves, but the bench just has not been there for the Lakers thus far, and your top 4 guys have really struggled. Gabe Vincent looks like a whiff of a signing from Pelinka, and it just adds to the list of players that leave the Miami Heat as rotation players that just don't find homes other places. Jackson Hayes has had issues. Max Christie hasn't been good. The only bench guy that has given you anything in terms of scoring is your first-round pick, Dalton Knecht, and that's really the story here. Listen, it's fine to have rookies lead your bench in scoring. We've seen a team like Miami, who just mentioned Jaime Jaquez Jr., have it last season with him being picked 18th overall. But it's never a great sign that a rookie is your best bench scorer. Unless he's someone taken in the top 5, top 10, where it's expected for him to have that impact right away, then I don't know why that's a good thing. But I will say this. I like Knecht. I had him top 10 in my draft board. I had him as a top 7, top 8 prospect. So it's great value for Los Angeles to begin with, but it does just further point to the fact that you need more from your bench. And maybe Christian Wood will be that guy when he recovers from his knee surgery and returns to this bench. Now, I do want to give fair warning. Christian Wood is a very up and down basketball player. He's had good moments. He's had bad moments. Prior to coming to Los Angeles, he was really good for Detroit, Houston, Dallas. Last season struggled a little bit for the Lakers and didn't really do that well, but we know that he's capable of putting up numbers. Now, does it impact winning? That remains to be seen. All 4 of these teams you saw, it was the worst year the Mavericks have had over the past 4 seasons. The Rockets were terrible. The Pistons were terrible. So he's kind of a guy that puts up numbers on bad teams, if you will, but maybe in his second season in Los Angeles, he'd be able to figure some things out and give the Lakers more bench production in terms of putting the ball in the basket. There also could be maybe some talks of a lineup change. I don't know. Maybe I'm just throwing out there. Maybe you move D'Angelo Russell to the 6th-man role and you fill that role of Austin Reeves as the point guard, Dalton Knecht your 2 guard, and you have a more polished scorer off your bench. Maybe that can be something Los Angeles looks at. But with a couple of injuries to Vanderbilt, to Christian Wood, it's a little bit tough for the Lakers to get that bench production they are searching for. But what say you? Do you still believe in Christian Wood? Type Y for yes or type N for no. I got to be honest, I don't know if I'm a believer in Christian Wood moving forward, but maybe you guys disagree with me. Let me know down in the comment section. Changes that need to be made. We just got to get better production around Anthony Davis. This guy's been playing at an MVP caliber level to kick off this season, and I think he have a legitimate shot to win MVP if the Lakers were able to put together a good season. If he continues to put up numbers where he's averaging 30-plus points per game, 11-plus rebounds while shooting the efficient that he has from the field at 57%, he's been absolutely sensational for Los Angeles, and they just need to give him more help. It will be tough to win MVP with some really good players getting off to a hot start on good teams like Jason Tatum, Donovan Mitchell, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. But Anthony Davis playing at the level that he is at is unbelievable. Now, there is some concern injury-wise with Anthony Davis, which would be absolutely catastrophic to the Los Angeles Lakers here. He was a little hobbled yesterday, grabbed his ankle, leg, he's stretching it out, appeared to tell J.J. Redick he's okay, but he punched the basket padding in the game yesterday that occurred with about 4.5 minutes to go in that 4th quarter. And in the postgame, they were asking LeBron James about what would the Lakers do if Anthony Davis missed an extended period of time. And Anthony Davis in that locker room overheard that and said, well, Anthony Davis isn't going to be out. So that's at least good news on that front, is that even though he left the game a little bit hobbled, he said in the postgame that he'll be fine, he won't be missing time, and that's a good thing for the Lakers, because if Anthony Davis were to miss time, this team would be in serious trouble to stay competitive. He's playing such good basketball right now. But we do know, unfortunately, Anthony Davis is an injury-prone basketball player. We don't want him to be injured by any means. We never want that. But it is something that we always have to keep our eyes out for, because he has just that long, extensive history. And with this bench and front court not really having a replacement on there, well, that could be a little bit dicey. But could a replacement option in front court depth be on the way for the Lakers. We're going to talk about a reported offer that the Lakers sent to Utah for Walker Kessler and why the Jazz might have said no to that. But first, we are sponsored by Prize Picks, the #1 daily fantasy sports platform in North America. And it is so easy to play. All you do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. And right now, you can win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct entries. It's the only real money daily fantasy platform with an injury insurance policy, so your return or your lineup stay in play even if one of your players gets injured, which means if your player leaves in the first half and doesn't return, Prize Picks keeps your lineup alive. Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Think LeBron's going to have more than 20 points. Think Donovan Mitchell's going to have more than 3.5 threes. You can play any way you want with Prize Picks when you could cook up your hot takes with this basketball season with your friends and your crew. I have a little entry here. I got more than Stephen Curry, 26.5 points per game. Less than Zachary Reese-Shea, 10.3 points per game. And then more than on Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, 30.6 points per game. I'll tell you what, not a good start for me in terms of SGA. He has not been scoring as much as he did last season, but we'll see if that gets turned around. But shout out to Prize Picks. You can play any way you want. Download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. One more time. Download the app and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. Run your game. All right, let's get over to the Jazz talks now because it's been reported that Utah turned down an offer centered around D'Angelo Russell and draft picks for center Walker Kessler. And if you watched a video last week, we talked about how Walker Kessler could be a great fit for this Lakers team, but the price point for him in a trade with Danny Ainge and the Jazz might be just a little bit too high as they've been asking for multiple first-round picks, which I don't know if Walker Kessler is worth. Well, it's been reported that, and this is by The Athletic Sam Amick, by the way, that the Lakers offered D'Angelo Russell and 2 first-round picks to the Jazz for Walker Kessler, and Danny Ainge declined. Kind of a surprise decline there. And here's what Amick actually had to say. So while our own Jovan Buha recently reported the Lakers have interest in Kessler, a Jazz source indicated the possible framework of a deal that included D'Angelo Russell and multiple first-round picks would not be of interest, though could be other Lakers iterations that might be of more interest. And listen, it's obvious that the Lakers are interested in Kessler, whether they want to pair up him with Anthony Davis in the starting lineup or have Kessler be that backup big that Jackson Hayes just simply has not been able to do. But I find it fascinating that Russell and 2 first-rounders wouldn't get it done. Like, what is Danny Ainge looking for? 2 first-round picks is pretty rich for Kessler, in my opinion. And then you also get in a solid expiring contract in D'Angelo Russell. To me, it makes sense for them to pull that deal off and just have D'Lo come off the bench behind their young guy, Keontae George. But evidently, they're not interested in that. Ricardo Sandoval from SI.com really talking about the Lakers' interest in Kessler here, so that for some time now, the Lakers have had their eye on Kessler, the young center of Utah. The Lakers would love to acquire Kessler as he would be a solid piece next to superstar Anthony Davis. However, their trade package for him may not be enough. And I don't know what would be enough to get Walker Kessler. If D'Lo, an expiring contract, and 2 first-round picks can't get the job done, what are they looking for? Like, seriously, like, Kessler is a very good player. He's really improved his game early on in the season, averaging a double-double after not being able to average double-digit points in his first 2 seasons, not even really averaging double-digit rebounds as well. He's a great rim-protecting center. He is someone who is going to be top 5 rim protector and rim deterrent in the NBA in the coming years. But, I mean, what are they going to want, man? Like, 2 first-round picks and an expiring contract is pretty good to me. Like, he's not a superstar. He's not going to be an all-NBA guy. He's not going to be an all-star. Danny Ainge is just, if we're going to be honest, I don't know. I want to say a word. Not sure if I could say it on air. Really want to say it, though. Not going to do it, unfortunately. But he's a hardball negotiator. There's no one in the NBA that thinks highly of their own players more than Danny Ainge. He asked for too much. It's why when he was in Boston, they never got the job done. It's because he simply is not willing to give up assets to get over the hump. Brad Stevens comes in, he expends assets, they get Drew Holiday, they get Derek White, and they're NBA champions in Boston. I don't think Danny Ainge is that good of a GM, man. I really don't think he is. It's because of trade negotiations like this. So what would be a trade negotiation for Walker Kessler? This is an upped offer from the Lakers where they offer a young guy in Jalen Hood-Schifino on top of the 2 first-round picks in D'Lo, but you also get Jordan Clarkson back as well, who is kind of a tough contract for Utah. I don't know if that's really something that Utah would even be interested in, and specifically since we know that Jalen Hood-Schifino's option from the Lakers has not been picked up, which means he is going to be a free agent sooner rather than later, and that kind of experiment in Los Angeles hasn't played out how we all hoped, and someone who had a lot of stock in JSS, by the way, not happy with how that turned out. I thought he was going to be good in the NBA. Evidently not the case. I don't know if this gets it done either, because if the original one is going to happen, I don't know if adding Jalen Hood-Schifino and getting back Jordan Clarkson is really going to push it over the hump. And some people might say maybe trade Matt Christie in this deal. Well, he cannot be traded as of right now, so that's not really an option for the Lakers and Rob Pelinka. It's an interesting conversation to be had, but the first trade didn't work out. Maybe the second one will. And let me know in the comment section, would you make this trade? Would you add Jalen Hood-Schifino to this deal to get the Walker Kessler trade done, but you also get Jordan Clarkson? I actually think this would help the Lakers. Maybe you get that bench guard that can score the basketball a little bit. You have also Walker Kessler. Let me know. Type T for trade or type P for pass. All I know is that a trade, if it happens between the Lakers and Utah or anyone in the NBA, it's likely going to take some time and happen in that first couple weeks of February around the NBA trade deadline. It's very rare that we get early trades in the NBA. Last year, OG Anunoby got traded from the Raptors to the Knicks. I think it was either in late December. I think it was mid or late December, and that was a stunner. Usually trades do not happen until like January. But we'll see if anything materializes over the next month and a half or so before those December games start to pick up. People say the season doesn't begin until the Christmas games. We'll see if a trade happens before that. And if a trade does happen with Los Angeles, we will have you covered. Make sure you're subscribed and make sure you have those notifications turned on so you never miss a piece of Los Angeles Lakers news. I'll see you with a video in the near future, so make sure you're subscribed.